welcome to episode 9 of Two Dumb White Guys. My name's Paul Davidson.
And my name is Scott Norman.
And we have officially become the most prolific YouTube channel in all of Porterville High School history. Yay! Even though we don't have as many views as they do, we
That's
still
because
have...
we don't play strip basketball.
That is true. So there you go, DLB Nation. We gave you a shout out. But anyway, welcome to the episode 9. And today we are going to talk about memes. But before we get there, I'm going to give a challenge to all these people that want us to do K-pop.
We have a ton of people. Just for those of you who have not listened to the other episodes, you can go back and listen to our suggestion box episode. We have had lots and lots of suggestions that we should do an episode all about K-pop, but we are not K-pop experts, and so...
Yes, K-pop is a very big and broad genre, and so we have decided that you, the users, need to curate us a list of the creme de la creme of the K-popness. So in the comments to this video, link us to the K-pop that we need to be woke about so we can be able to do a K-pop episode.
My favorite part of that is that you called them users.
Hey, you know, it's Friday.
Getting your fix of K-pop.
But anyway, so that's so K-pop fans. If you want to do us to do a K-pop episode, you need to get us K-pop things and put them in the comments. Link it in the comments, and we will watch them and talk about them from there. But until we have access to K-pop, we're not going to venture until we have a guide to help us through the dangerous force that is K-pop. We're not going to tackle that alone.
Otherwise, the only one that we will review is Ryan Higa's BGA.
No, we'll do Gundam style too.
Oh, okay. So you can look up Ryan Higa's BGA group.
Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about memes. In fact, we're going to be focusing, a lot of what we're going to be talking about is going to be hashtag nevertheless memes persisted, building critical memetic literacy in the classroom by Lauren Harvey and Emily
Palese?
Palese,
Emily.
And this was published in the Journal of Adolescent and Adult Literacy, volume 62, issue number 3. So if you want to look up that article, that is what we'll be talking about for the majority of this episode.
And if that name and reference put you to sleep, wake back up. Because it is time for meme review.
Meme review. In fact, I found the clap. I found the clap emoji, so that will be in the show title. So, this article is an excellent article. I had to read it last semester for my one of my master's classes, and it got me really thinking about how we could possibly use memes in the classroom. And like the thing that stood out to me, like we read through, both me and you read through this entire article.
Yes.
And we're going to kind of just follow along, kind of talk about it, and then talk about different ways that we can apply it to either the classroom and then just memes in general and life in general. And that's what a lot of this article talks about, is like memes in general and kind of like what makes a meme.
And once again, for those of you who are students on here and you're like, oh man, this is just going to be a review of some article. No, we're actually talking different types of memes and ways that we have been memed, and we might actually make some references to places you can find us in meme form on the interwebs.
Indeed. So, Mr. Norman, do you want to start us off in going through?
Yeah, so as we begin reading through the article, there were kind of conversations about how you can engage in various forms of information that you otherwise wouldn't by engaging in memes. And they give the example of a young lady who was in school and ran across the "Nevertheless, She Persisted" meme. And the Nevertheless, She Persisted" meme was actually a very relatively short-lived meme because Elizabeth Warren was told to stop talking in the Senate, and she continued to speak.
And this was during, like, I think Mitch McConnell's, not Mitch McConnell's, Jeff Sessions'
confirmation
hearing.
And Mitch McConnell, quote, "She violated the rules. She was warned. She was given an explanation. Nevertheless, she persisted." And that became kind of a rallying cry for both kind of feminist groups and Democrats in general to rally around her, but then also to just kind of turn it into a meme. And we'll talk more about what turn it into a, I'm doing air quotes that you can't see, turn it into a meme means here in a minute.
Yes, and this girl encountered these memes out in the wild. She found a wild meme and didn't know what to do with it, and then she created her own. She apparently made a meme of her crossing a finish line at a race that she had just finished earlier and had the hashtag. Nevertheless, she persisted. And from that point forward, she went and investigated what the hashtag was actually talking about. And as a result, this young lady learned a little bit about politics, a little bit about history, and all of that just from one stray meme.
She, however, was not Native American. Sorry, I had to reference that, Elizabeth Warren. But it then begins to talk about the fact that you can actually become knowledgeable about a subject due to coming across memes about that subject. And that kind of spurred thought in my mind about kind of the double-edged sword that exists there. It talks about, I'll actually just quote the article. It says, with a bit more research and a quick glance at Wikipedia, this teenager, previously idly surfing Facebook on the bus, is now a bit more knowledgeable about current events in U.S. politics. When she gets to school, she tells her friends and shows them the meme. So it's advocating this idea that you can actually gain knowledge because of these memes and become more educated about it. But my kind of question is, what do you think about the fact that it could be either creating someone who now has more knowledge or creating someone who thinks they know because they saw 3 memes about it?
It's a double-edged sword that we're looking at, and they were quoting a different article, but they used the term weaponized meme, and that's where you're starting to kind of go with this. Like, yes, it can be a good tool, but it can also be weaponized, and this article does go in and say that's part of the reason why we need to teach memes here in school. That way they can be critical and be able to understand certain memes. And you gave me an example today at lunch of a specific meme that came to mind.
Yes, I did, and now you can do the research on this because I actually didn't. I just saw several times on Facebook, this was years ago now, a meme that I believe was based on something that Bill Maher produced, and it was specifically attacking what he claimed to be the Jesus myth. And he said that this character, Jesus, that did not exist, this is once again quoting him, was actually just an amalgamation of a whole bunch of other myths. And so he had this list of Jesus rose from the dead. This other mythical character rose from the dead. Jesus did this. This other mythical character also did that. And it became very prevalent on Facebook. I saw it all over the place. And then it stopped. And part of the reason it did is because a bunch of articles from scholars who were not believers in the resurrection of Jesus, but were simply historians, said, hold up, none of this is accurate. And so they went through and piece by piece took apart the little visual meme that he had created and said, yeah, this is a whole bunch of bull for the most part, but
that's where you get into like the similar flat earther problem. Like once the genie's out of the bottle,
correct,
people will be like, well, you have to prove XYZ, and how do you know that that they aren't tampering with their evidence?
Exactly. And so what has happened since then is I've actually had conversations with people who say, oh no, and they start referencing that, not realizing that it originated with Bill Maher and that meme, and just saying, you didn't know this? And I'm like, wait, that's not true. And they're like, yeah, I saw it on Facebook. And so that
Fake
idea,
news.
yeah,
Fake news.
You're wrong. The idea that you can actually endanger yourself if the only place you're getting information is from memes, because you might think that you know what you're talking about when in reality you don't. But that leads into the whole point of this article, as we were just saying, and that is that you need to critically analyze these memes. So that kind of moves us on to the next point there,
which is critical memetic literacy. And with critical memetic literacy, and literacy is just understanding, coming to a competency, and that's what literacy is, because most people think of literacy, they think of reading and writing, and that is literacy, but there are other elements to it. And in the article, they mention media literacy, digital literacy, and critical literacy are all a part of critical memetic literacy. And and then they go in and kind of just talk about memes in general, because memes have existed way before the internet even was a thing. In fact, it was, I believe, Richard Dawkins. Yes, Richard Dawkins in 1976 was the first person that came up with the term meme, and he defined it as memes are contagious patterns of cultural information that are passed from mind to mind that directly shape and generate key actions and mindsets of a social group.
That voice was impressive. The Dawkins voice. So yeah, it's these ideas. In fact, even the use of the word meme is in and of itself a meme culturally. The fact that we have picked this thing up and begun applying it across a whole bunch of different areas and saying, hey, this is also a meme, and this is a meme. And we actually see here in the various types of memes, it actually talks about features of things that are memes. And these are things that apply to what we call internet memes, and we'll delve deeper into those here in a minute. But they also are features of any other type
Actual
of meme.
memes, yes. And here's a perfect example of for our students, because that's our primary audience, is our students, of a meme that is not an internet meme. And then I saw it reemerge. It hopefully will not live long, but I fear as soon as I say it, it's going to reemerge. The mine meme that the kids like to do in the hallway when they're walking.
Mine?
Yes, when they're walking down the hallway and they're all saying that back and forth, that technically is a meme.
Yes, it originated, of course, with the classic Pixar movie Finding Nemo, and now it is just something that you do if you want to annoy the bejeebers out of people.
But yes, but that is a meme, and it features these three categories that are labelers for things that are categories, or what is a better way of putting it?
This would be aspects of a meme.
Aspects of a meme.
These are the three key aspects of something being a meme.
So what's the first key aspect of a meme?
So the first one would be fidelity. And when we say fidelity, we are referring specifically to the qualities of a meme that enable it to be readily copied and passed from mind to mind while staying intact. So
And that was Noble and Lancashire who said that.
yes, so you can credit them, but basically meaning that this is something that is easily kept together and moved from mind to mind to mind. Kind of, you could almost think about a meme, a cultural meme, like a virus, right? It's something that has to remain in its original form enough to pass itself on, and that's it.
Yes, it's not a facsimile, if I'm going to drop a word battle from earlier this week. It's not an exact copy, but enough of it is still there that the original meme is still
Recognizable.
Yes. So that's one of the features that is required.
The second one is a fun word to say, and that is fecundity.
Fecundity, which refers to the rate at which the idea rises in the pattern, copy, and spread. That was also Noble and Lancashire. So, basically, how copyable is it? How can it evolve?
What is the speed at which it evolves?
Yes.
Yeah, so now, fecundity, I'm not going to lie, if I saw the word fecundity out of context, I would think it had to do with fecal matter, not speed.
I was thinking fungus.
Oh, well, there you go. Both of them spread quickly if they hit a fan. So, the thing is that fecundity would be the speed at which this thing is going places. So, with the internet memes specifically, we see lots of memes that have fidelity and fecundity. Both of those things apply to many, many memes. And you can think back even over the last year. In this time last year, the two big memes were Tide Pods and Ugandan Knuckles. They have, thankfully, neither one of those have survived in mass.
I'd say I occasionally will see Tide Pods pop up again in my Twitter timeline, but that's not necessarily not as virally as it used to.
But my question would be, do you know Dewey? You can tell the memes that last from the memes that don't. What is the thing that we call the measurement of that?
That
length?
is longevity. And longevity is the longer a meme survives, the more it can be copied and passed on to fresh minds, thereby ensuring its ongoing transmission. And longevity assumes optimal conditions for meme replication and innovation. Once again, that's Noble and Lancashire from 2007.
So the idea there being very much, I mean, honestly, it's very much like a virus. If you were to go and read that book that we have shouted out earlier in the Native Americans episode, 1491, actually specifically 1493 is the book to read about this. It talks about these exact same things when talking about why malaria was so deadly in the early colonies, because it could stay around long enough, reproduce itself fast enough, that it would then spread to a new host before it died out. And that is the same thing with memes.
So let's take this and apply it to another offline meme. So let's say that, like fashion. Fashion is quite frequently memeable, where there is a it's something that can be readily copied, so something that someone can automatically do pretty quickly. It is something that can be copied at a fast rate, and then how long it lasts helps determine it. So let's say that all of a sudden all the kids want to start the weird thing that they did when I was in high school, start rolling and tucking their pants in their boots.
Okay, so tucking pants in boots or pants in socks in our high school.
Socks, yes.
In our high school right now, pants in socks is a
true.
meme.
And or if everybody just started wearing Crocs.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a thing too. Also, if you think back, people often talk about like the 70s, and bell bottoms and all of that, and then it kind of came back a little bit in the 90s. Those are actually memes. They're cultural memes, but it's clothing. It's not internet memes. Some can be crossovers, though.
Some can be crossovers.
For instance, AirPods. So those of you who know the AirPods Flex meme, then that's yours. But that's the idea, is that is both a meme outside of the internet, and it is a meme inside the internet because it becomes something that is shared online. Speaking of internet memes, if we took those three things and then kind of expanded it to look more in detail at the internet memes themselves, what would be some example, or what would be some features that we should look for?
And there we have 4 more features that come to mind, and that is intertextuality, indexicality, temporatability, and recalability. So intertextuality, what was that?
So intertextuality, the idea that memes reference other concepts and other memes.
It's meta.
And yeah, meta. So an example of that would be, I was just looking at a meme that when we got on here, there is a gentleman by the name of Bob Clubs, shout out Southeast Missouri weather, watching the weather so you don't have to. We'll just end it there. But he had posted about weather that is coming through here and said it was wonky. Someone commented with just a picture that was a picture of a donkey. Now, someone might look at that and immediately laugh and go, ha, it's a donkey. Donkey rhymes with wonky. But if you are someone with a child of young age, then you probably know that that is the wonky donkey from a children's book. And so all they had to do for that meme was post that picture, and several people made the intertextual connection.
The automatic connection between this one and that one, and it crossed over.
And that is intertextuality.
Then you have indexicality, an element of one meme that can be used to comment on many situations, use different contexts and different purposes. So an example of indexicality.
I would say for indexicality, the Kermit meme.
The Kermit meme.
I mean, well, honestly,
any
several,
Kermit meme.
Any of the Kermit memes, they are very, very definitely high in indexicality. The fact that you can have on Twitter the emoji, the tea emoji, and the frog emoji, and everyone knows
it snaps into place right then.
Exactly, that is Kermit sipping tea, and none of my business. But so that idea of indexicality, of being able to reference, and that is used for so many things, commentary on so many things.
And in fact, like even if pop open your phone right now, unless you're in school, then get off of your phone right now.
We see you.
Technically, they're probably listening to us on their phone.
And now it's ASMR all of a sudden.
Yes, welcome to ASMR Memes Corner. My name is Paul Davidson. Anyway, yes. But
you're welcome.
But open up your phone, and most of the time you have that option of that to do a GIF reply, and that would be most of the options that pop up first are very indexable, not necessarily memes, but kind of GIFs that people use to meme certain situations.
Honestly, GIFs in and of themselves are memes.
We could go into high res GIFs.
Yeah. So the point being, yes, there are lots of memeable or GIF. Memes? Meme GIFs? Whatever the heck that is. A geme. MIFs.
A GIMP. A GIMP.
That sounds too close.
This is some Pulp Fiction. Get your head out of the gutter.
All right.
I
don't know what you're talking about.
Templateable.
So templateability.
Templateability. There we go.
Templateability is the idea that the structure becomes a template for further people to use. So right now I have an essay that kids are writing, and I literally gave them a template. I said,
follow this.
Yeah, it has paragraph by paragraph what is supposed to be there. All they have to do is highlight it and type in their info in its place. And that is what memes are. That's why you have the growth of things like the meme generators and all those things that you can find online, because they are simply templates that you get to fill in.
And just off the top of my head, most of the meme templates they use impact font like we use for the show title, or not the show title. We use phosphate for the show title. We use marker felt for the title of the episode, and then we use impact for which episode number it is.
Like literally we use a Sharpie and then we just hit it for the impact. Anyway, continue.
But yes, impact is the font. It's in white letters with a black outline to it, and then you have one line at the top, one line at the bottom. You have the setup at the top, the punchline at the bottom.
Yep.
And that's most templateable memes.
And because they are templatable, they are also replicable. In other words, they can be easily copied and shared across varieties of media and platforms. I have very, very dank memes in my classroom. Not really. But I have memes that are probably worn out and overbeaten like a dead horse that are posted in my classroom, and I printed them off, and they're on a piece of paper now. People use them, like you said, GIFs that are memes. People use memes in tweets. People use memes in text messages.
Even tweets themselves can be memes. Like
Yeah.
one of my favorite memes is the little guy that peeks out behind the wall and whispers something real quick, and then you move on to the next tweet.
Yeah, so it's all of these different things that are both templatable. In other words, it's easy to turn it into a template, and because of that template, they're easily replicatable or replicability.
And you can change it to whichever situation that you're particularly needing.
So I'm going to go ahead and I want us to kind of run through these things and give some meme examples.
Okay.
And see how they are showing fidelity, fecundity, longevity, intertextuality, indexicality, templatability, and replicability. So we'll only do a couple. But let's start off with, of course, because it was so huge at the beginning of last year, we'll try and bring it back. Let's talk Ugandan knuckles.
The way of the way.
The way, do you know the way?
The way of the way.
So, starting off with Ugandan knuckles, fidelity. The qualities of a meme that enable it to be copied and passed from mind to mind, relatively intact. So what are some qualities of Ugandan knuckles that allow it?
It is the use of de and part of the meme, and then the fact that it is the same image of Ugandan knuckles that pops up over and over and over again.
Yes, so you saw this with YouTube and Twitter and a whole bunch of other places. People changed their avatars to be Ugandan knuckles, and then everywhere they went, they talked about Dewey or spat on the non-believer. But that brings us then to fecundity. The rate at which the idea is copied and spread. This thing exploded. Just like right now, the oh yeah yeah meme that you know what you are. The oh yeah yeah meme has started from nothing. It was something that happened in 2018. Some guy said something on Fortnite. And then over the last month, it just exploded.
Just all of a sudden blew
and
up.
so all over, if you go on like the top 10 trending videos from a month ago, all of them within the top 10 comments have someone just commenting, oh yeah yeah. That's the whole comment. And
then the other 9 are first.
Yeah, exactly. First.
See, the kids don't understand that. That's a deep YouTube cut there.
Oh gosh. So the fecundity is the fact that it spread very quickly because all you had to do was get your hands on an easily grabbable avatar picture and know the way.
And then the longevity, it still is around today. In fact, we even had in our school, they had a world religions project, and a couple students made a religion that was the way of the way.
And they are still signing people up to. They had you can correct us in the comments because I know you listen, but it was something like 25 people.
They were at the point
on.
where they could be technically a cult.
Yeah, they could actually be recognized. And so that brings us to the internet memes specifically, intertextuality. And this is something I didn't know until several months after Ugandan Knuckles took off. Do you know where the phrases that the Ugandan Knuckles character says came from?
I do not.
They came from an actual, this is why it's Ugandan Knuckles. They actually came from a Ugandan movie.
Dictator? Oh.
A Ugandan movie. And I don't know the movie. All I know is that there is a scene where a man is chasing a woman and talking to her and saying these things. Saying, for instance, why are you running? Which is something that Ugandan Knuckles people say all the time.
And then on top of that, Knuckles himself is a character from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, and he's taken and made funkier, but he is a modified character.
So that is part of the intertextuality, and then you have the indexicality.
And once again, different situations and contexts. I don't know that they necessarily could be used, but Ugandan Knuckles was crowbarred into a million different situations and contexts just because people would pop into the middle of just about any conversation and go, but do you know the way?
I'm about to say, I remember last year during the NCAA tournament, a bunch of Alabama basketball Twitter people were using Uganda Knuckles in regard to Colin Sexton, and he's showing the way.
Yes, and I had students in my classroom around this time last year, once again, you know who you are, that would raise their hand in the middle of class and be like, I have a question. And I'd be like, yeah, thinking that it was going to be a serious question. They'd be like, do you know the way? And I'd just be like, okay, and move on. And then they would click at me, but...
All right, do they have a template? Yes, you can still find them on Meme Generator. And then, are they replicable?
Definitely. We saw them everywhere. If you watched the original video that began the Ugandan Knuckles craze from, what was that thing called? Where you go on, it's...
Reddit?
No... Where you put on VR chat.
Okay.
So you go on VR chat, there's a video of VR chat, and there were literally like thousands of Ugandan Knuckleses running around clicking at people. But anyway, so highly replicable.
All right, and of course, Ugandan Knuckles is a image macro. Now, there are 3 types of internet memes, and one is image macro, one is an exploitable, and then the next one is a memetic video. And the one that our students are familiar with all of 3 of these, but the one that is quote unquote the internet meme is the image macro.
Yeah, this is the one where you have a picture, you've got exactly as Paul described earlier, on the top, words white with the outline, words white with the outline at the bottom. The top is the setup, the bottom is the punchline. This would be the guy who is standing there in the middle of the crowd and looks shocked, and he goes, oh, toasters are just, and then at the bottom it says, bread tanning beds. So it's just things like that, you know.
Or the example that they have in the article is Grumpy Cat, or my favorite is the Fry, shut up and take my money.
Oh, yes, of course.
You have Fry has a lot of them. Futurama has a decent amount.
Yeah, they do.
Fry also has the one where he's squinting his eyes, where he's like, I don't know if it's this or this.
Yeah, for sure. Image macros.
Kermit technically would be an image macro.
Yeah, Kermit would be. There's a game that I've referenced before. You'd have to censor the game. I have censored the game, but there's a game called What Do You Meme? And it is all image macros. That's all it is they give you the top text, bottom text, and then you match it with kind of apples to apples style with the picture.
Or Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, same thing. Very similar. All of those would be image macros. The second one is an exploitable.
And that's a little bit more complicated, and you start to get, like, with each of these, you start to get more skill-based needing involved in order for the meme to be produced, and it becomes much more of an art form a little bit. And so with the exploitable, you have an original image that somebody photoshops and places into a different image.
So this would be, if you have seen the...
The best example I can think of this is whenever... last year in the finals, when LeBron James was doing that arm gesture towards J.R. Smith.
Dang it, J.R.
Yes. Whenever he was doing that, I saw LeBron get photoshopped out of there and then like placed next to the Titanic, next to all kinds of different things. Showing outrage.
I was thinking, now this one actually would combine exploitable and our next category, but there is one that was from a Vine video where somebody falls and I think they roll down the stairs, but then it just keeps them rolling, and it has them roll down a bowling alley. It has them just roll across a street, and they just keep rolling through space. Like they've just taken that, removed the context, and just kept them rolling,
and put them wherever they wanted.
Yes, and actually, we have some examples in our classroom that students have created that are exploitables. I have had, actually both of us, and shout out Coach Red as well, have been in...
Powerpuff Girls?
Yes, we've been the is it Powerpuff or
It's Powerpuff.
Powerpuff.
Because they're superheroes. They're powerful, but they're puffy because they're girls. They're little girls. They're little girls. Like Powerpuff football. Anyway.
Yes. So Powerpuff Girls, we were the faces on the Powerpuff Girls. I had one of my favorites is still on my wall, and it just is my face on a whale breaching the surface, and it says, "Oh whale, who cares?"
Which one was the one where which one of us was Shrek?
Oh, I was Shrek,
and and you were holding me and my dog's head.
Yes, I was holding you and your dog's head in my hands, and then it said, "Get out of my swamp" in German. across the top.
And then I think there was one where my dog was a Pokemon trainer.
And you were the Pokemon.
And I was the Pokemon.
Yes, I remember that one.
My favorite of all time. My personal favorite of all time. This doesn't involve you. It's just me.
Yeah.
Someone did Bob Ross. They took my face and put me on Bob Ross.
Oh, yeah. So all of those are exploitables. And actually, we are kind of going to issue a little bit of a challenge to those who are listening. I know some of you guys, but what's it? Something Toes. You know who you are. You always comment.
Babito Toes.
Bobby Toes or whatever.
Babito.
Yeah, you know who you are, and I know who you are, but I can only reference you by your internet name. And those of you like him who enjoy all of these memes and post them in Classroom all the time, we challenge you. We will post pictures with this of our faces. Make us an exploitable meme.
Yes.
Put us wherever you would like. Please try and keep it appropriate. I shouldn't have even said that because now they won't.
Yeah.
But
we will only post the appropriate memes.
Correct. We will repost. We will actually repost appropriate memes, and so.
Well, actually, you know what? I'll make a video. We'll make a video. We'll make a very short episode of Two Dumb White Guys in which we
actually do a meme review on your memes you make of us. Feel free to use our pictures, combine it with anything, go for it.
And you get those, and you do exploitable memes, which you are used to. Heck, I'll even let image macro memes. That's my fifth hour class. The students like to use image macro memes about One kid did, the butterfly meme?
Yeah.
They said, I was the guy, the butterfly was a material, and it said underneath it, is this a C?
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
But yes, we'll take image macros, we'll take exploitables. You know what we'll do? I don't know how we're gonna work it out for memetic videos, and we haven't really talked about memetic videos. But if there's a memetic video that you involve with us, knock it out. Yeah, we'll review that one too.
Yeah. So for instance, memetic videos. Once again, if you want to make yourself Two Dumb White Guys, whatever you want to do there. Memetic video would be something like Gangnam Style, a video that is taken and adapted by consumers, and then they turn it into their own version of that video. The probably most famous, because it was leading all hit counts for a long time on YouTube, is Gangnam Style. And people all over the place remade Gangnam Style, including people at SEMO when I was there.
And the other big one was the Harlem Shake.
The Harlem Shake, yes. Actually, fun fact, if you look up Harlem Shake SEMO version, there are two videos that will come up top. I'm in both. You will see me on the right of the fountain, sitting there in a hoodie with a black coat on, and then standing above the American flag after the Harlem Shake beat drops.
Do the Harlem.
Which I never understood because it sounds like he says "Me gusta terrorista" at the beginning, and I'm like, wait, what? And then the beat drops. So I don't understand that song.
He's dropping the bomb.
Oh, the beat is the bomb.
Because as soon as the beat drops, the bomb of insane partying begins.
I see. I've learned something today. So anyway, yeah, if you want to make a memetic video of us,
all right. So once again, since we're on memes, this is a GIF, but the GIF from Tim and Eric's awesome show of the guy in the glasses and the fireworks going, bah! Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, that's what Mr. Norman just looked like.
Yeah, I had. Or if you are a listener of the Dan Le Batard show, when I think it's Guillermo gets his mind blown and flips in the background, that was me too.
And actually, believe it or not, it was not widespread, but Two Dumb White Guys was a memetic video for one of my assignments.
Oh, really?
Yes, two of our students for their Caesar project final over the theme of Julius Caesar did a podcast parodying the first episode of Two Dumb White Guys, the Storm and Norman show.
There you go. So we have been memed, but we challenge you, make us memes. We will official PewDiePie style meme review and decide which are good memes or dead memes. hey, maybe give us a new format we can talk about.
And speaking of memetic videos, if we're going to move forward to pushing through this article, and that is an excellent article. Once again, it's by Harvey and Palese. Nevertheless, memes persisted building critical memetic literacy in the classroom. That's the title of the article we're currently reviewing. To move forward, they talk about memetic videos and say, as a term, viral is applied ubiquitously to anything that's an extremely popular video. But memetic videos don't have to be viral. They just have to be copying that original viral video.
Yes, and most memetic videos are viral, but not all viral videos are memetic.
Exactly.
Meaning, like, right now, so Baby by Justin Bieber is a viral video. It is not memetic. I have not heard lots and lots of other people copying Baby and
They
posting
have,
it.
probably, but it's not a viral memetic.
Yeah, so the meme never really went anywhere on a global scale.
It did not have, as we were looking for, the fiduciary, I can't read.
Fecundity.
Fecundity.
Fiduciary would mean it didn't have the cash, and Bieber's got the cash.
Yes, but it doesn't have that, and as a result, it lacks in the fidelity and the longevity of a regular meme.
So let's kind of move from that into kind of our final big point, and that is if there are any educators listening. You've already heard a lot of things about how these things can be tied into the classroom, but just to kind of bring it all to a point, there are lots of ways you can actually use these in a classroom setting.
Yes, if I'm going to put on my teacher hat, my giant foam cowboy hat that says
I was wondering
teacher
why you had that.
on top,
Careful, he almost knocked over the microphone.
Hey, you need to get a better microphone.
Oh, man, stop it.
Anyway, so if I was to put that hat on, my teacher hat, saying, well, memes are an excellent thing for middle-level thinking. And middle-level thinking, you have 3 stages, or technically 6 levels of thinking, but you can break those up into 3 specific levels. You have the lower-level thinking, which is like recall, like parroting back stuff. But memes are excellent for that middle-level thinking where you are taking different patterns, and applying them to different situations. And that middle-level thinking, studies show, if you can get the kids to think at the middle level, they will automatically jump up to those higher levels of thinking.
Man, quit turning your head. So now that we
Here, I'll take off my giant foam cowboy hat.
Okay,
there,
thank you for taking the hat off.
and I'll put my 10-gallon hat full of orange Fanta on again,
Oh,
Dwayne
gosh.
The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, that's for you, Dwayne. Come on, we still want you on this show. So for some examples, he already discussed students using memes in his class, specifically people doing memetic video for the sake of an assignment. I know in my class, students have done things, for instance, in order to get an idea across about North Korea, they, in a presentation on North Korea, dropped the thing chock full with Kim Jong-un memes. They had...
This isn't the one I was thinking of, which that's technically not a meme, the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, yes. Okay, that was kind of like a vine. Yeah, we had students whose names we cannot drop on here, but very creative students who had somebody go clap and then say woo and jump off a bed and create an atomic bomb explosion.
But that's not a meme.
Yeah, that's not really... Well, it could have been if people started copying it, but...
Sadly, they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't jump off things and make bomb noises. But they chocked it full of Kim Jong-un memes, and there were a lot of people, actually, as we were talking through political parties, that turned to memes to explain their feelings about those parties on specific issues.
Which also brings me to something that they mentioned in the article about internet memes in action. I'm quoting on page 264. Memes can bring people together from their diverse backgrounds to fight against injustices. At worst, they can also unite people in actors of hate. So people use these memes as identifiers, much like that you were talking about with your political parties.
Yes, absolutely. And memes can bring folks together or kind of divide people because you have groups that recognize memes. For instance, things that we do in here that we reference that are almost school memes, then those things, if you are a listener who is not from Portageville High School, you might listen and go, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yep, go completely over their head.
Whereas there are people here at the high school who listen and go, oh yeah, I'm kind of part of this. I'm drawn in. And there are memes
Yeah,
very
I love
much like
Satan.
that. Yeah. Okay. She teaches me chemistry. Yeah, so someday we'll get her on the podcast and you will understand internet. That's going to be our viral hit right there.
Oh, gosh. Ooh.
Norman and Davidson interview Satan. So
I hijacked the podcast right there. I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. We are right next to her room. It's just right over there. So
That is true.
you can feel the heat a little bit. But anyway, yeah, so there are a bunch of ways to kind of, I guess, wrap back up that initial point that we sidetracked ourselves from.
Yes, you were talking about, and here's the thing that I kind of talked about whenever we read this article in my master's class, was that memes are kind of like the new political cartoon.
Yeah, I would say so.
And so, if you were a social studies teacher, you could use these memes as a way of analysis of a particular political situation. In fact, the article itself that we were reading through, nevertheless memes persisted, talks about taking pre-existing memes and having students do macros of that. So, sorry. I had to make sure that we're still recording. We don't need to lose this for the fourth time.
Oh, gosh.
People don't understand how often we have to record these.
Reference back to the OG podcast when we became two dumb white guys for deleting our podcast 3 times.
Okay. Where was I going? Oh, yes. But they take these pre-existing memes, they just print out the pictures of the memes and hang them up around the classroom and then give kids sticky notes, and they have to write out the meme that they're going to put on each one, and they give them certain topics like immigration possibly, or they give them student loan or student debt. Those are particular topics they give them. They walk around with sticky notes and they stick the sticky note to the meme to kind of establish what they're talking about.
Yeah, and this is something that you can use. There's a million ways you can use memes in class. You could actually I used to have students draw political cartoons to talk about certain things. Now I can just have them create a meme. And there are those meme generators where you can go on and have them create 10 memes to do things. I actually had a student at one point, I will not mention his name, but he goes to an Ivy League school. And for a...
Oh, I gave him this idea of doing that idea.
So for an actual application to a college...
For his creative endeavor.
Yes.
Well, technically, we could mention his name. He no longer is a student.
Well, bullock.
There we go.
So the actual instance was that he turned in as his creative submission a list of memes about why they should let him into college.
Or it was more like why he should, his project, his creative project, why he was not working on it, or why he was doing this particular, why, the SpongeBob meme, I remember at one point, is memes aren't a creative project, was one of his memes that he submitted with it.
Yes, and if you were here to see the hand motion that went with that was very amusing. It was the SpongeBob, whatever the heck he's doing.
He's being a chicken.
Oh, being a chicken.
That's why it's SpongeBob. Oh. Norman's learning so much today.
The more you know.
Who knew Davidson had the internet literacy?
Yeah.
Who knew Davidson had the dankest memes?
More time on Twitter.
Yes.
Anyway, hopefully throughout what we've talked about here, you've seen what a meme is, how it can be useful, how it can be dangerous, and you've seen what the various types are, how they travel, and... most importantly, you remember the fact that we have challenged you to turn us into one.
Yes. Actually, I just really thought one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up for good.
Okay.
I realized how I can use it in my class, and I think I'm going to try to do this possibly. Right now we're reading a novel, and at one point we'll stop and kind of talk about the bigger ideas at play. What I will probably do is say, all right, meme this novel. Just take whatever meme you can find and create a meme about this novel that we're currently talking about. And through that, students will be able to identify key characters, they'll be able to identify key plot points, and more importantly, that higher level thinking thing that I'm looking for, they'll be able to identify the theme of the story.
He got really serious when he said that.
Anyway.
So
there's that.
Last challenge here, for those of you who made it to the end of this podcast... our podcast had longevity today. The key thing as you're walking away is make a meme if you want to be part of the meme review that is coming out probably next week, and We are still trying to get our elusive expert squirrel wrangler as a guest.
I even have the slide already ready for his image macro.
So that is coming down the pike. But remember, you got two things. One, if you want us to do a
K-pop.
review of K-pop, find us the K-pop, curate it for us, and post it in the comments below. If you want to be part of our meme review, then once again, post those memes below, and we will include you in the next podcast.
Possibly the next. If we get our elusive squirrel wrangler, he's the next podcast.
That is true.
He's
He is-
priority number one.
He is worth pushing everything back for.
But anyway, regardless, my name is Paul Davidson,
My name is, and Lord willing will be, Scott Norman.
and we have been two
Dumb white guys.